great job. Let's get Pete Jones out here on the stage, and let's get out one reclusive theremin player, Wainwright. And the director of the festivities tonight, Archie Borders, is here as well. Good to see you. And David, why don't you come up on stage too? David Henry, who's the screenwriter, is here as well. We're going to get an extra chair. So, have you all seen this yet? Is this the first time you've seen it?
I never saw it before. I'm in shock. I got so excited I had to shave.
Archie, I found out about it, and the World Cafe got included in this way into the process, but can you tell a little bit about the process and where this began? Because it was with another tiny radio show.
It was. It was another tiny radio show which will have to be, nameless, but there was, thank you. There was a producer named Sterling Kine who does another show with you guys, and she wrote a really wonderful piece. And thank you. And originally that other radio show was going to be involved, and they were not. And they kind of let us not know that until the end of the shoot. And towards the end of the shooting, I was talking to Joe Henry, and he said, you know what you should do? You should call David, because David, this is his kind of movie. He would learn it. So we picked up the phone, we called you, and you said, that sounds awesome.
You are easy. Yeah, it's a thrill to see it. Tell me more about how is David Henry, can he come on too? The screenwriter. There he is. Tell me how you decided to turn this into this movie, or turn what was essentially a radio piece into a movie.
The original story was Everybody Speaks All the Time, and it's a really wonderful piece with her and John Langford from the and they both cameo in the film.
Right.
And it's just one of those pieces that, you get a bunch of artists together for a day, and this kind of stuff happens, and it was wonderful. And I wrote about 30 drafts of it, and I got to the point where I couldn't see it anymore. And I said, Dave, please help me. He took it, turned it into, took it to the next step, and he said, can I show this to Joe? I said, yeah, show it to Joe. And that's when Joe Henry came on board.
I end up interviewing a lot of actors who become musicians. Sometimes with great results. But this is completely the opposite. Here we have musicians and actors. But the two of you here have extensive work in film before that. Tell me a little bit about your experience with this character and how you saw the character. And I understand there's a bit of improvisation in there on your part.
A lot of people don't know my first instrument is the theremin. Followed by the Jew's harp, and then the guitar. Joe Henry is a friend of mine, and I've worked with him on a couple of records, and he called me, and I met David before, and said, this is a movie that you should be in. And I read it, the script, and really liked it, and thought it was a very interesting part. And I didn't feel like shaving that summer, so that was how I got in.
And well, tell me about your interest into the festivities, John.
Well,
He needs a microphone.
well, no, I'll just speak to the people here.
Much louder. Same sort of thing. I'll do pretty much anything that Joe Henry is involved in. And like the script, and actually Joe was, they were recording Joe for the lead, for the Pete Jones part. And Joe felt like he didn't really feel like giving up that much, or getting it that, he didn't feel like he could do justice. And it was his wife, Melanie, who's a genius, much smarter than Joe, much prettier. And she said, well, why don't you call him John? Call John Joe. And these guys said, well, that's a decent idea, let's try it. But it's really hard, it's really difficult, you know, musicians playing musicians. Because, and luckily this was close enough to myself that I just said, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to develop some other, you know, go into some method bullshit, and I'll just be myself. With a few tweaks and not as, you know, I was nicer.
You're nicer. You're nicer than he is.
Yeah, well, it turned out the opposite. No, but it's not the easiest thing. It's much easier, you know, I'm sure that Loudon could barely sell. It's much easier to say, okay, well, go play a cop, or go play a, you know, a drug addict, or, you know, because then you can just sort of do research and you can figure out, like, what part of your personality is that, and then go for that. You know, but it's really close. Then you start, which is, you know, I watched a lot of Paul Westerberg videos, and I tried to, you know, him being kind of being an asshole. No, because he was in a, you know, between a rock and a hard place. He felt like he had to please too many people, but he didn't want to please anybody, and he didn't even know how to please himself. You know, we're watching, you know, just different interviews with them.
Dave, what is it like writing for musicians? Because you really got a lot of the musician humor down. Did you realize people were going to, the sex jokes were going to go over as great as they did?
I mean, sex jokes are easy. But, you know, a lot of the material for, you know, the banter in the studio and the way relationships develop and something like that's going on. I've been in the studio with my brother Joe was producing before, and we talk a lot, you know, we live far apart, we email, and he always has great stories. And he'll, you know, about works on projects with, you know, and sometimes he works with difficult people. Nobody leaves on stage here. He probably some great stories. He produced his really first breakthrough project as a producer was with Solomon Burke in like 2002 maybe, and he had just outrageous stories about recording this record with Solomon Burke over the course of 5 days. He was coming in, light candles, object the guitar player, he had dreadlocks, he was not a Christian, things like that. But, so I really did kind of work some things I just witnessed and heard from Joe. But it's not that different than work I've done, you know, as a writer for an ad agency. I mean, it's always the same. I mean, I think we think that movie people and music people are crazier because they talk about what they do and they share stories. But it's often, you know, just as insane working in you know, a more cloistered environment.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the thing. I mean, you know, any art group you get together, whether it's a theater group or it's a, you know, an art opening or it's, you know, going to put up a mural, it's putting together those personalities and making those personalities mesh and how interesting that is. And it's people who would normally not be together in the same room are together. And when Dave and I worked on that stuff, that was the fun stuff. You know, getting those personalities together, you know, getting that stuff.
And even though you have all these music stores, you know, and just because we all love music and you know, came up listening to John, and I mean, we're sitting on the stage with it right now. I mean, I remember listening to, hearing my first Loudon Wainwright song when I was maybe 14. And I'm 54.
You did a long career.
Yeah, it's like Loudon, you know, I only met him a few years ago. Yeah, he's been like a part of my life for a long time, and he was one of those people you gravitate to. So I was gonna say, even though the music and everything is very interesting, it's also, this is one of my favorite stories. I love the movie Seven Samurai. And this is exactly that story. But that story